Hi, it's Katie May here from groupguru.org. This is Penny. Say hi, Penny. I am hanging out at home with my puppy today in my sweats. It's Monday morning while I'm recording this. I don't know when you're watching it, but just taking the morning to settle in, set my intentions, to do my yoga, to really take my time to transition into the week, and I hope that you're able to do the same. So I want to thank everyone who showed up, who watched the first two videos, who really thought out the responses and commented below the video, who emailed me, who's active in the group, who's really getting excited about starting a new group. I've seen quite a few of you that are like, okay, I've been following along for a while, lurking in the background of these videos or of this Facebook group, and now I'm ready. I'm ready to start my group, and I'm really excited for all of you. Those of you who are already starting your groups, who already have ones and are looking to foster your knowledge of marketing and really creating effective groups, and those of you who are just getting started. So it's an exciting process, and I'm really happy that all of you are here, and I'm excited that you're following along in this video journey as well, because as you know, I love, love, love my groups. I have 5 groups. I'm halfway through filling a 6th. It will be filled by the end of the week, and that's kind of like my superpower, is that I'm able to decide that I want to start a group, and then because I've been planting seeds all along, and I've been continuously marketing in a way that is easy now because it's like routine, then I'm able to call people in whenever I want to start a new group. And at this point, I don't think I need to tell you about the benefits of group, but I'll review them anyway. Make a bigger impact on the clients that you serve. Be able to spend less time in the office. Be able to be in your sweats at almost lunchtime on a Monday, to take the time to transition into your week and really enjoy yourself. I have 5 hours of group this week and 9 individual clients, and I'm supporting a family on that and more, and able to give them some of the luxuries that they deserve and that I want to give them for being the people that are most important to me. So let's get started with what I promised you today, and that was all about how to get group members to commit, how to get them to show up, how to be engaged, and how to continue to show up and be engaged and become your raving fans. So I've heard a lot of questions like, how do I get group members to commit? How do I get them to actually show up? How do I avoid getting them to cancel at the last minute? And how do I get them to really stay around? So that's some of what I want to answer for you right now. And what I want to tell you about is the 3 C's. I know for those of you who do CBT work, the 3 C's have a different meaning. What is it? Like catch, check, challenge, or something like that. But the 3 C's for the purpose of marketing your groups is a little different. So the first one I want to talk about is commit. You want to get a solid commitment from anyone who's going to join your group. Now, I talk a lot about in the Become a Group Guru course, no desperate energy. You're not begging people to come in to join your group. You're not accepting people that are halfway committed or who are unsure of the process. You're only inviting people in who truly want to be a part of your group. So what does this look like for you? That means that you do a phone screening intake. You talk to them on the phone. You go through the 10-step intake process. If you don't have that script, message me and I'll send it out to you individually. It's something that I love to share because I love to help therapists be really successful at intake screening calls, because that really makes the rest of the process all that much more successful. So you want to have that solid intake screening phone call. You want to charge a full fee for an intake session. Now, there's a lot of fear around this. So many people get worried, like, I'm worried that someone's not going to pay the full fee for an intake to come in and join my group. Well, what I want you to hear is that, there Penny goes, there's someone at the door. What I want you to hear is that, come here, Pen. Totally casual here today. Someone who's investing financially in your group and investing emotionally in an intake session is going to show up in that first group. When you buy into someone else's limiting belief that they can't pay for an intake session, that they can't show up for an individual session because they're too busy prior to showing up for a group, that person isn't going to invest in a group. That person is limited by their own beliefs, by their own resistance. And if you're buying into that, you're actually not doing them a service, and you're not getting someone in the group who's truly invested in it. So you want to get a solid commitment over the phone. You want to get them in the intake session. You want to actually get a commitment in that intake session that they're ready to join the group. No desperate energy. You want to say something like, look, everyone who joins this group really wants to be there. And if you want to be there, I need the commitment from you too that you want to show up, you want to do the work, and you're willing to get started in this group. And usually when you turn the tables like that and you come from the perspective of, you know, I'm interviewing you to see if you're a good fit for this group. And of course, you have a choice as well, but it's not an automatic entry just because you say you want to be here. You need to actually show up and show your commitment for group. And I talk about that in video number 2. So if you missed some of the first 2 videos, I talked about, you know, that you can get started sooner than you think you can, and that you can actually turn the tables and you get to decide who joins your group. You're the boss, right? So check out those 2 videos below if you haven't already. I did put a little button so that you could check out video 1 and 2. Okay, so C number 1 is the commitment. You want to get them to commit first in an intake screening phone call, then in an intake session. They're paying for their full session, for an individual session before they're committing to group. Second C is a contract. You want to have a solid cancellation policy and actually stick to it. When you're not sticking to your cancellation policy, again, you're doing your clients a disservice. You're going back on your word. You're not being consistent with what you're saying. Have a solid cancellation policy that, you know, if you don't call, if you don't let me know you're not showing up for group within 24 hours notice, you will be charged a fee. And I get people to put a credit card on file, and I actually get them to sign off, and we talk about it in the intake session. You know, we review that if they don't come to that session, they're getting charged on their card automatically. So you want to make sure that you have a really clear cancellation policy spelled out in your contract, that you have them initial it, sign it at the bottom, and you talk about it in your intake session. And you're doing that for a couple of reasons. Number 1 is that you're letting them know and making sure that they understand the agreement. And number 2, you're really reinforcing it for yourself, because you need to feel comfortable putting it out there in order to actually charge if someone's not showing up. And by having this cancellation policy, you're supporting them in showing up for the group that they agreed to come to. So you're supporting them in reaching their goals. And if you're not charging, it's not really supporting them in that process. It's enabling them to not show up and not do the work. So second C is contract. You want to make sure that you have a solid contract and a solid cancellation policy. Okay, we're moving right along here. Third question was, how do I get people to stay in group? How do I keep them excited about group? The third C is about conversation. Create the group that your members want. Now, maybe you have a curriculum. You know, maybe you're doing DBT, or you're doing trauma-informed group, or you're doing something else where there's already a curriculum all set out for you. That's okay. You know, you can be, you can stick to a curriculum and still have a conversation about what group looks like. So I'll give you an example for my teen therapy groups. Some of the groups we do activities, and when I originally designed the group, it was to do check-in, activity processing, and that each group was really structured. It was more structured. And what I found was that different groups wanted different things. And my older teen groups really wanted to have a conversation. They didn't want to do the activities. They were tired of doing week after week. They just wanted to talk and they wanted to process. So when I started to read the room and I started to see what they wanted, I just opened up the conversation to them. And I said, hey, I noticed that you guys are really into these activities. What do you want from group? This is your group. And so when they started telling me, we just want to be here, we just want to talk to each other, we just want to process, that's when I was able to say, okay, this is your group, you know, this is what you want from it. And I was able to facilitate that and still able to provide them with effective feedback and interventions when they were sharing, you know, about anxiety or depression or self-harm. So I was still able to provide them value, but it was in a way that they wanted. And I'm a big believer that, you know, clients can lead their own healing process, and they just need someone to be with them along the way to unlock what they need. And so when I was able to let go of some of that control and let them lead their own healing process, the group blossomed that much more. So sometimes we as therapists have an idea of what we need to do in order to offer value to our clients, but the value that our clients want is something different than we think we need to offer. Does that make sense? So when we can open a conversation with them, when we can have that first group and say, hey, this is your space, and what is it that you're looking for in this space that's going to help you heal? And we listen to what they're saying, and even if they're saying that they want something completely different than what we had in mind, if you want your group to be a success and you want people to keep coming back, what they want from you is to feel heard and to feel understood and to get from that group what they came to group looking for. So that third C is conversation. It's about listening to your group and letting something unfold that may look a little bit different depending on each group that you have. So right now I have some teen therapy groups where we still do check-in activity process because that's what works for them. And then we have other groups where they come in and they just talk and they process and they give feedback to each other and support each other. And it's amazing to watch that unfold. So you really need to listen to your group, and of course there's evidence-based treatments, and I want you to be mindful of being, sticking to an evidence-based treatment if that's your intention, but also allowing something to unfold in the process that makes sense for both you and your clients. So let's recap. Number one, commitment. Get a solid commitment in an intake screening call, in an intake session. Get a full fee investment from them. The more someone commits financially and emotionally upfront, the more they're going to show up for that group. Don't just email back and forth with someone and say, hey, show up on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for group, because there's a likelihood that if someone's not connected with you and they've not already invested in the process, that they're not going to show up, that there's going to be a game on TV, or there's going to be a dinner with a friend, and they're not going to be as committed to showing up. So you want to make sure that those bricks of commitment are there before that first night of group. Number two is contracts. Solid cancellation policy. Make sure that you're aligned with what it is. Make sure you're comfortable sharing what it is, that they're signing off on it, initialing it, and verbalizing understanding of it in that intake session. So you're all on the same page and there's no fear when you actually have to charge for that cancellation fee. Number three is the conversation. There's always going to be a conversation. Anytime that you're selling, anytime that you're offering a service, you want to make sure that you're having a conversation with the people that you're marketing to, that you're offering a service to, because you want to get that feedback that what you're offering is a match for what they need so that you can have really amazing outcomes. And that's, from my perspective, where a lot of my amazing outcomes come from, both in the coaching field and the therapy field, is because I'm listening to what people need and I'm giving them what they need. And so I want you to take that away, is that of course you want to be guided by your intentions and why, your passion and your why and what brought you here, but also allowing it to be a two-way conversation and to let that guide you as well. So I hope the 3 C's in this case were helpful for you. Commit, contract, conversation, all ways to create raving fans out of your current group members and actually get them to recommend your group to other people. What I think is one of the most amazing compliments is that when one of the teens from my group actually tells another teen at their school, hey, Katie's been really helpful, and here's her phone number, she'll answer your text, so give her a text and set up a meeting. So it's amazing when you start to see that happen, when you start to see that you've helped people to the point where, they're breaking that stigma that therapy is something that's embarrassing for them, and they're actually sharing how amazing it is, and they want other people to have that as well. So here's what I want you to hear. In the next email that I send, I want you to be on the lookout because I have an amazing invitation for you. And it's a way to help you feel supported. It's a way to help you commit to your process, to help, invite people into your groups and to have the tools and the know-how and everything that you need in between to get your group up and running, to get the contracts ready for you, to get the commitment from your group members, to help you understand how to start that conversation. It's something really exciting and I can't wait to share. So be on the lookout for that next email because there's a special invitation in it just for you. And what I want from you right now is to comment in the comment section below. Are you getting people to commit? Are you charging for a full fee for an intake session? Do you have a cancellation policy in your contract? Have you ever started a conversation with your clients to figure out what it is that they need? Talk about the 3 C's and talk about what you need from them and what you're going to get started with today. For today, I'm Katie May from groupguru.org, and I can't wait to see you in that next special invitation email. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.